Well, you talk like a farm boy, so that's the reason I was asking.
Yeah, people think Ty Richards, they say, hey, that's a blue-collar kid growing up.
Farm boy, just, country boy.
Country boy. Yeah, country club boy, more like it. I need to get back on. I
didn't mean to throw you there. No. I was just picturing you on a tractor as you were talking about that.
I need to get back to my roots, Chuck. I need to I give up this radio thing and
get back to the tennis court or the soccer field or wherever it is you grew up.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile sneers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
So that was some fun with Chuck yesterday. He's going to be back with us at his usual time, coming up in about 30 minutes. We've got plenty to discuss this morning as we get going here on a Football Friday. And football, again, the king of this state. We're 62 days out, as a lot of you just heard, from Arkansas's football season. And we're also getting closer to the NFL season as well, which I know a lot of people are excited about. You can jump in here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline at your choosing today at 877-377-6963, with the exception of Roman Harper at 7 o'clock, former Alabama safety and NFL All-Pro. It's just going to be you, me, Chuck, and Colton this morning. So make sure you get in with us here, as we've got a lot to discuss. Hey, we've got the USA Fireworks second annual banging giveaway going on, where you can go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a $2,000 fireworks show. Yes, $2,000. Again, just go to hitthatline.com. It takes about 2 minutes to do. That's it. 2 minutes to do, and you have a chance to have the best fireworks 4th of July that you have ever had with your family, thanks to Chris Brewer and USA Fireworks. You can also go to Chris's website, usafireworks.org, for your chance to win your chance at wholesale prices, which is basically half the cost. If you want to buy a fireworks show, maybe you're listening this morning, you're in charge of a committee, you're in charge of your HOA, POA, whatever. Like, you're in charge of something, and you've got to figure out where to buy fireworks. usafireworks.org is the best way to go. So it is one of those things where this weekend you've got fireworks. Again, 4th of July is next Thursday, and I know people are excited about that, as you often are. You think about what's ahead this weekend, like at Prairie Grove High School tomorrow. You've got a fireworks show. Pea Ridge has their Freedom Fest at 6 o'clock on Sunday, as well as fireworks at the Crosses at Cross Church, which is on Sunday, that starts the dock. So this will get going this weekend. I know for the Walmart shareholders meeting, you had some fireworks that were shot off, I think, above Bud Walton. It was either above Bud Walton or Donald W. Reynolds Raceback Stadium. I was out of town, but it gets going this weekend. Colton, are you a guy that spends a lot of money on fireworks?
I'm not sure that I would say that I spend a lot of money on fireworks. I do love to shoot them off. I do love to take the proper precautions and shoot them off in a safe area away from people with professionals and things. But I will say there is nothing better than sitting out there around 9 o'clock on the 4th of July, just starts to get dark. Someone pipes in Lee Greenwood, and they shoot that first firework off, man. One of the best feelings in the world every year.
It gets things going. It gets things going for sure. Hopefully everyone is safe, not just this weekend, but the following weekend. I know that we've all done stupid things with fireworks before, Roman candle wars, shooting off large fireworks in areas that we probably shouldn't based on certain houses and certain restrictions. Again, I don't know every little detail across our state and where you're allowed to shoot fireworks, where you're not allowed to shoot fireworks. Just hope everyone has a safe next couple of days between this weekend, this week, or this upcoming week, and then next weekend. There will be a lot of money spent on fireworks. But if you're going to spend money on fireworks, go to usafireworks.org. And again, enter your chance to win a a $2,000 fireworks show from USA Fireworks, and hitthatline.com. Hoping to see some fireworks this upcoming football season. And while Razorback football, as you just heard, is 62 days away, we are closer to the NFL season as well, which I guess we're under 70 days now with it the following Thursday. So Arkansas will play that final Thursday in August, and then the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens will play that following Thursday to open up the NFL season. I know NBA is taking the focus right now with what happened yesterday. Bronny James, and not just yesterday, the last couple days, Bronny James. But one of the things I've been thinking about is what's going to happen? Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to three-peat? That was a big question about the UConn Huskies, right? Do the UConn Huskies have what it takes to go back-to-back for the first time since the Florida Gators did it under Billy Donovan? We found out the answer is absolutely yes. With Kansas City, I know Travis Kelce always in the headlines dating Taylor Swift. Patrick Mahomes, love him. Don't like any of his family members, to be honest. Don't like his wife. Don't like his brother. Don't know his dad really or mom that well, but don't really like any of the Holmes family outside of Patrick himself. I listened to Tom Brady. So Tom's calling football games for Fox this fall. Maybe you're aware of that, maybe you're not. But one of the things he talked about is that he felt like later in his career he didn't have fun playing football. And I think it's awesome to watch Patrick play it because you know he's having fun. Now, there's a big workload that goes into it. You know he's locked in, and he's about as competitive a player as there is in the National Football League, if not the most competitive. Can he be competitive enough to go three-peat? We'll have to find out this upcoming season. We've also got something to look forward to next month as well. We've got our Hardee's Thick Burger contest that will be coming back. We'll be telling you more about that for your chance to win your football trip of a lifetime. I think we're doing Cowboys and Eagles a little later on, so we'll be telling you more about that in the coming weeks as we get ready for those qualifiers and have your chance to send someone off to the Cowboys and Eagles, which is, I think, in November, if I remember that right, later on this season. Colt, I don't know. Who is your NFL team, by the way? I'm a Packers guy. I don't even know your NFL team.
I've been a long-suffering and just really, really addled Miami Dolphins fan for a really, really long time. What happened was someone turned on the NFL Network a long time ago. They used to play the America's Games, which was a recap of the season for all the NFL champions. And the number one ranked one was the 72 Super Bowl for the Miami Dolphins, where they went undefeated. And for some reason, 8-year-old me thought the Dolphins were the best team every single year. Little did I know that they truly weren't. But I've been suffering, and this year, the big question is, are they going to pay Tua that money that he might deserve or might not deserve? But right now, I'm just waiting for the season to start. Then it's going to get into December. It's going to get cold. Fins are going to play really, really important games in the cold, and they're going to lose. And you'll ask me this question again next July.
Yeah, that's a bummer because you do have that high-flying offense with Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle. There's a lot of weapons there, and we saw it firsthand this past season. They just kind of, like you said, floundered down the stretch. Bills got that first seed in their division, and it was just not having to go to Arrowhead in those conditions. I would not ask that on my worst enemy. I mean, that's just brutal. And credit to KC for figuring out how to do what they do in Arrowhead and then do what they did as kind of the quote-unquote, even though they are not an underdog, they were lower seeded than what they've typically been under Patrick Mahomes. There is an interesting story with the National Football League, and as it is a Football Friday, we will get into that coming up in just a bit. And again, your calls and texts are welcome throughout the morning. You're also welcome to come by and see us next Tuesday at the Social Birdie. They've got their grand opening on Wednesday, but Tommy and myself will be there next Tuesday at 1250 Branson Hills Parkway. And yes, Ty, what is the Social Birdie? Well, it's this new awesome place that has pickleball, golf, great food, and more. Branson's already a great town to take your family, and now they've got this addition too. Again, if you want to find out more information, go to The Social Birdie. That's BIRDY.com. And you can check out the Facebook page as well to see everything that they've got coming to Branson. The grand opening again next Wednesday. We're going to be there live on Morning Rush next Tuesday from 6 to 9 a.m. We got football to discuss here, more fireworks discussion, plus talking a little Arkansas athletics and finances, and Chuck joins us in about 20 minutes. Stay with us here on A Football Friday.
This is Football Friday on the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This is the Morning Rush.
House here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hotline, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Hi there, I'm Sarah, and I just had to share my experience with Mosquito Joe. See, I used to dread spending time outdoors because of those pesky mosquitoes. They would always find me and ruin the fun. I would soak my daughter with bug spray, which hardly ever worked. It was awful. I finally called Mosquito Joe, and wow, it has been quite a game changer. They implemented an eco-friendly mosquito control plan customized especially for my yard. Now I can enjoy my backyard without constantly swatting at bugs and reapplying bug spray every 10 minutes. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I can't sleep.
And I'm starting to like you.
You're the one.
Field goal for the tie.
What a game by the senior from Mariana. He was out for 3 or 4 plays. He comes back in and makes the play of the game for the Razorbacks.
You want to watch the Morning Rush, Halftime, Even, Ruskin, and Zach? Find our live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Twitch. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio.
So that was the block in the rock, I guess, Colton. Carlos Hall back in the day. A lot of fun listening to some of these old highlight clips that we've got as we count down till Razorback football, 62 days out. I know people are excited about it, as well as the NFL season. NFL news. It's Football Friday. I want to get into this discussion about the NFL Sunday ticket in just a second. Now, the NFL might have to pay $4.7 billion. We'll do that in just a sec. If you're looking for a great place to watch some MLB this weekend, great happy hour, or just a great place to go hang out with your friends, look no further than TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. They have daily specials each day. Happy hour from Monday to Friday from 3 to 6 and 9 to close, where you're going to get half-price drinks and $5 appetizers like potato skins, mozzarella sticks, pot stickers, steakhouse meatballs, spinach dip, and more. In addition to all that, they have daily specials. My personal favorite is on Wednesdays, the Cajun chicken and shrimp pasta for just $12. Again, their daily specials are awesome. Next time you stop in, ask what they are each and every day at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. All right, this NFL Sunday ticket stuff, it's interesting. So the NFL yesterday was ruled from a judge that they're going to have to pay $4.7 billion to fans, and bars, and people that they quote-unquote trifled with, basically. That was not what the judge said. But here's kind of the backstory. There's this bar in San Francisco called the Mucky Duck Sports Bar that was angry that they were having to pay so much money for out-of-market games. $349 for an NFL Sunday ticket. It wasn't just them. There are a lot of fans that feel that way. It's frustrating, right? I mean, you're a team of a certain NFL squad that's 2,000 miles away, and you got to pay out of an absurd amount of money for it. I'm a red zone guy. That's what I watch. Other people like Sunday ticket. It just depends on what tickles your fancy, I should say. And I don't know if this is ending up where myself and others that have paid for NFL Sunday ticket are going to get a reported $2,000 to maybe $6,000. I don't know if it's going to pan out like that. I'd love for the NFL to cut me a check. I'd love to just see National Football League on the byline and me to get a check in the mailbox. Don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I do understand where owners are coming from, bars across the country and other places that you pay money to watch all these NFL games or have these NFL games on because of your customers. They're going to probably appeal this. I don't know what it's going to end up being. Maybe they will have to pay this $4.7 billion, but this is definitely an interesting NFL story. I'm curious Chuck's thoughts on this. Maybe this is, again, not gonna come to fruition. We know the NFL has a lot of money. They've got smart lawyers. But as of yesterday, it sounds like this is going to happen, Colton. And now we'll just have to wait and see if we're going to get a check from the National Football League for doing nothing else than being a fan and buying the NFL Sunday ticket package.
I mean, you said it. If I get a check in the mail from the National Football League, I don't care how much money it's for. It's being framed. I'm putting it on the fridge. I'm really trying to kind of find a good place to display that because that's still pretty neat. I think it was obviously overcharged from the beginning. It is a nice thing to be able to watch your team in any market at any time. Much like you, I'm a red zone guy. I love Scott Hanson. I love him breaking it down every Sunday. It's like my ritual is just to turn red zone on as soon as it comes on and then never move until it's over. I love watching red zone. And so I think for them to be able to give a little bit of people some of that money back from the Sunday ticket thing, I think that it's an interesting thing. I don't know if I've ever heard something like this before where a league is giving money back to the fans because they were they jilted them in some way. But I definitely think that it's the right move on the NFL's part. And $4.7 billion to the NFL is pocket change. All I got to do is run one or two ads a couple of times and they got that money in the bank.
Oh, they're not happy about this. And I don't even know if they're going to pay this. Again, this was what the judge initial ruled. We'll see. It could go on for years and years from now on. Now, Robert and Conway brings up an interesting point on the McLarty Daniel hotline, and it's 100% right. The bar owners and other business owners have to pay far more for their NFL Sunday ticket package than we do. I don't know every background story on rights fees and stuff, but yeah, there's a lot more dollar signs and a lot more numbers that they have to add than the 349. But I'm like you, I would cash the check and then hopefully my bank would allow me to keep it and put that up for him. I don't know if it's going to end up panning out or not. I just thought it was an interesting little tidbit that came out of yesterday when it comes to the National Football League and what's going on. Story-wise in sports, I think we're 20 minutes in. We haven't talked about Bronny James playing with his son, or his dad, LeBron James. As the Los Angeles Lakers do end up drafting Bronny James, I'm going to do that probably 50 times this show late. This is something I know everyone has an opinion about. I think, again, I have to separate this into two different sides. Props to Bron for getting this done. This is his son. There's not a one of you that wouldn't want to play basketball with your son at the next level. Not a one of you that wouldn't want to do what LeBron James is doing. I'll give him credit, but at the same time, I'll discredit the Los Angeles Lakers for them falling. Now, I don't know if you make a St. Louis Cardinals comparison, but like I know Chuck has his feelings a certain way towards what the Cardinals have been as an organization relative to what they've been in years past. And I think a lot of Lakers fans, while it's not exactly eye to eye, it's the criteria, I think, is similar in the sense that they're disappointed with their executives and their GMs and their owner on why they're going about it this way. Again, credit to LeBron for making this happen 100%. Kind of like with Lonzo's ball dad, LeVar. Credit LeVar for helping get his son the number 1 overall pick and LaMelo as high as he was. You can't get mad at a father for wanting that for his son, but you also have to look at the organizations like Los Angeles that fell into that trap, and they're falling into this trap as well. I don't see this panning out for the Lakers into another NBA championship. I think LeBron either goes to another team or he retires before Los Angeles gets to another one. I've been wrong before. I don't think I'm wrong on this, but we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. Really just not a lot of news yesterday with the NBA draft. Like, I didn't even know. I just assumed. I didn't look at the schedule. I just assumed it would be later on at night. It wasn't. The draft happened by the time I was basically eating dinner, and I was planning on just watching it that night. Turns out it happened already. And I was just like, I was kind of just shaking my head. I was like, whose bright idea was it to set the second day like this on Thursday? Again, they have their reasons for doing things with television networks and everything else. I just thought that was a poor decision on their part. But we'll talk more about that coming up. All right, back to football. I want to tell you about what's going on with Landon Jackson and the Hogtown card and memorabilia that are partnering with Landon for his youth football camp coming up July the 20th at Cyclone Stadium in Russellville. This camp is open to all ages, kids from 6 to 14 years old. You're going to get a signed photo of Landon, a T-shirt, a goodie bag, and a photo with Arkansas's best defensive player, Landon Jackson. Going to be the anchor on that defensive line. If you want to sign your student up for this camp, you can register at hogtownmemorabilia.com. There's scholarship opportunities available for those that need financial assistance. And if you're a business that wants to sponsor a student athlete or the camp itself, visit hogtownmemorabilia.com for more information. Again, it's July the 20th. Register now at hogtownmemorabilia.com. In addition to all that information, we're giving away a camp giveaway right now. So call or text this McLarty Daniel Hotline. You got a son or grandson, ages 6 to 14, that wants to go to Landon's camp in Russellville on July the 20th. Call Colton, give him your information, and your kid's going to be one happy camper coming up in July. Chuck joins us next.
This is Football Friday on the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This is the Morning Rush.
The Razorbacks have won it. Walk-ons is always...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in DeQueen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show.
Baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
They knew exactly what they were doing when they fired David Pierce on the day that A&M was playing for the national championship. They knew the deal was done. They knew the next day Jim Schlossnagle was going to be their head coach, and they were letting the Aggies know they knew. This is what's about to happen, fellas. Less than 24-hour period. It was like, hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed your time as the only Texas school in the SEC because Big Brother's back.
Texas has definitely added drama already to the Southeastern Conference, and they haven't even entered just yet. I guess Monday, July the 1st, will be their official first day in the Southeastern Conference. Curious to see what other drama ensues once they enter the league. Chuck's with us now. We've got plenty to discuss here on a Football Friday, including one of the things I wasn't able to talk with him about yesterday is the Division I Council basically telling analysts and quote-unquote other assistant coaches that they can do whatever and coach, and just really separates the gap now more in college football. I want to discuss that coming up in just a bit. It is a Football Friday. This morning we are brought to you by Arkansas Golf and Power Sports. Tommy's got a great new golf cart from there. They've got 2 great locations in Fayetteville and in Little Rock. They have both electric and gas carts. They have an 8-year warranty on the lithium batteries, and they offer custom carts just like the one Tommy has. So whether it's for golf, work, leisure vehicles, they also offer street legal models as well. Check them out at arpowersports.com. They have a brand new Razorback 6-seater. It's got the Tuss. It's got the Razorbacks on top. It's got it all. So if you want to ride in to your next golf event in style, or you just need something to get you around the neighborhood, arpowersports.com. All right, Chuck, let's start with this college football thing. Didn't get a chance to talk with you about it yesterday because we had plenty of other things. A couple things came down this week from the Division I Council. They're not testing for weed anymore. So that was funny. And considering half the United States now doesn't really care about that. But this analyst, like allowing analysts to basically coach and instruct now, and not quote unquote unlimited staffs, but basically unlimited staffs. What did I made of this ruling that it's just going to widen the gap between Power 5 and lesser schools? What did you make of what came down this week?
Well, I don't know that I have a real strong opinion on it, but I think that, yes, there's a gap between the big schools and the small schools, and the analysts and the guys that the bigger schools are able to hire and pay, who are essentially, most of them, some of the older guys are well enough off that they're basically doing it for the bowl bonus. But I don't think it's a grand shift. Just to be honest, I don't think it's anything we'll notice.
What did you make of? I don't know if you saw the story as well that Nick Saban's going to be making $500,000 as an advisor to Alabama. I saw that and I was like, yeah.
Advising work's pretty good.
Yeah.
Advising work is pretty good. Now, Saban's rate's probably higher than most, but hey, there's a lot of people out there getting some pretty nice stipends advising people.
Yeah. One of the things that Clay brought up on Wednesday when I asked him about this, and I haven't thought about this, but with these smaller group of 5 schools, it seems like they're really terrified of Power 5 schools, and not, we can't even say Power 5 anymore, splitting off.
Could you go back and I want to hear what you think about this coaches thing. I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm not familiar with this the way you are. So what's happened here?
So basically, what happened is the Division I Council earlier this week ruled in favor. Probably should have done this from the top of allowing different analysts. Like Nick Saban has made the analyst role famous, where he's hired, as you just kind of alluded to, all these great coaches over the years that still can pick up a bowl check, still can pick up a check, but they were not allowed to coach and actually instruct players. It was just more advisory.
They watched video.
Yeah.
They watched video and advised.
Yeah.
Told the coaches what they saw.
Stuff like that. Now, according to this rule, they're going to be allowed to coach, instruct, and do some
They
other
can be
things.
on the field.
Yeah, and on the field, yes.
Got you.
I think, to me, and Clay and I agreed, and he brought up the point, well, the smaller group of 5 schools are kind of at their knees with whatever the big dogs want to do because they're petrified of splitting off into 2 different football leagues, basically. And I hadn't thought about it like that, but they really are at the mercy of these big, and you can't say Power 5 schools because of the Pac-12 is no longer a thing, but that was, I thought, an interesting point from Clay on Wednesday that he made.
Well, I think the smaller schools, unfortunately, know the ship has sailed. And the idea that there's going to be some sort of, fairness to all this is a little naive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to happen. It's long been a situation in college sports where, the schools with the most money to hire the most folks are generally the ones who win. There's a direct correlation between championship trophies and the size of your budget, and that's just the reality of the world we live in. And so, again, I don't think this is going to move the needle, as far as fans are concerned. I don't think it's anything we'll notice on the field. Now, look, if you go watch a practice and you see some old guy back there that you've never seen before and he's working with a quarterback, well, he's getting paid, and, now he can be on the field. But here's the thing with these smaller schools, and I realize that this is going to sound like, a big school talking, but there's there's nothing that prevents people from volunteering. There's nothing that prevents these schools from, acquiring the same type of advisors and analysts and things like that. They just can't pay them, or there's not going to be a bowl bonus. They're going to have to do it out of the love of coaching, and maybe get some, be like the young guys, get some camp income in the summer. They're going to have to find a way to do that if they want to have these type roles on their teams, because they're not going to be able to pay for them. There may be an official breakaway at some point, but for all intents and purposes, it's already broken away.
Yeah.
And this is just, another layer in that.
And we're going to get a chance to see, not that Cincinnati being a part of the college football playoff a couple years ago wasn't the first we actually saw. We've seen Boise State. We've seen some other schools that have played more Power 5 and bowl games. But this will be the first year where a Group of 5 champion has a definitive, you've got a chance to make some noise. And
they don't have a chance to make noise. This is football. This is not basketball. They may be included in the group because they'll raise hell if they're not, but they don't have a chance. Mid-majors have chances in basketball. Mm-hmm. Mid-majors have chances in baseball. Mid-majors have chances in pretty much every sport except football. You're never going to see a mid-major come out of this playoff and win the national championship. It will never happen.
And maybe I should rephrase it.
I don't think you'll see a mid-major play for it. I don't think you'll see a mid-major ever play for the national championship in football.
I think Chuck, I think what I took away from when TCU was there, I guess 2 years ago, and got walloped is college football executives are really scared. And I know that that's still from a Power 5 at the time program, but they're terrified.
Do you really think of TCU as being a big boy in college football?
And that's what I was going to ask you about. It's like that they're in a Power 5 conference, but traditionally they're not one of the blue bloods or even big dogs.
There are always exceptions to the rule. You can always cite an exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. But TCU, hey, they earned the right to play in that game by virtue of their semifinal win. But I think we all saw in that final game that, maybe, I'm not sure the team they beat in the semifinal was among the 4 best teams in the country, and TCU certainly wasn't. But I'm not going to get into a debate about TCU because that's an aberration. You can always find an exception to the rule if you search hard enough. But I don't think you're going to see, when I talk about mid-majors, you're never going to see one of them play for the national title in college football. It's never going to happen.
I would probably agree with you on that. We're going to get a chance to talk with Roman Harper in about 20 minutes, former Alabama safety, also All-Pro as well. Talk about not just what's going on with that, but also just SEC football as we get closer and closer. And I'm curious his thoughts on Kalen DeBoer and how that thing's going to shake out. Staying on the subject of football, Chuck, this ruling with the NFL and the judge saying that they got to pay like $4.7 million. For those that we talked about it a little bit earlier, I'll kind of backtrack and go over. Bars, fans, others were angry with the amount of money that they had to pay for out-of-market games with the National Football League, which is $349 million a year. I paid for Sunday ticket for 4. It's not fun. It's not an expense I would love to have. Bars, businesses have to pay for even more. Now it sounds like, unless they appeal, which they're probably going to, that the NFL is going to have to cut a check to a lot of people. Chuck, anywhere from like $2,000 to maybe $6,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Does this go to like people like you, or does this go to the bars, or what's the deal?
A combination, man, depending on how much you spend. So
you're going to have to fill out a deal. They're going to send you something saying you may be entitled to class action rewards or something like that.
And last time I got one of those, I filled it out. And you know what I got in the mail, Chuck? Like
probably a check for $2.
Yeah, it was legitimately, it was like $2 or $3, and I was like, well,
that's how it works.
That was a waste of time.
You get a check for $2 or $3, and some lawyer out there got a check for $2 or $3 million.
It's frustrating, especially as someone that's now accounting for every little expense he has with this whole house thing. I would love a check from the National Football League.
Well, see, here's the thing, Ty. We read stories like this and we wonder what it means. You just said what it means. You get a check for $2 or $3. That's what it means in the grand scheme of things. And I don't know about the judge, the ruling, the lawyers. They speak a language I don't speak.
Yeah.
But what it means to the average football fan is you're going to get a check for $2 or $3. So whoopee.
Yeah, and I think for all the the majority of our listeners are either Dallas Cowboy or Kansas City Chiefs fan. This doesn't really affect them because their team's on every Sunday.
If you're a gambler, it affects you. There's a lot of people evidently that are.
And just fans and out of market. We've got Steeler fans that listen to this program. We've got Packers fans like myself, and it's sometimes hard to see some of those teams just based on where they are. And so having to pay that money is a pain in the butt.
See, here's the thing. Here's what makes the NFL ticket go. It's the fantasy leagues and the gambling.
Oh, yeah.
The National Football League does not survive and does not thrive because people are rooting for their favorite teams on Sunday. Sundays don't revolve around if you're a fan of even a Cowboys fan or a Chiefs fan, particularly if your team's not winning. Sundays don't revolve around watching every play of that game. Now, that may be the game you watch the most, but if you're a fantasy league player, if you're a gambler, that's what makes the NFL ticket go. Without it, the NFL. I mean, who can watch 15 games at once? Nobody can.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch 4 at once, you're not watching any. But if you got money riding on them, things are important. You check in.
Yeah, we got a text in here from Ryan in Prairie Grove saying it hurts fantasy. I can't remember if I've asked you before. I know Tommy's not. Tommy's got a lot of friends.
I've never done it. I did a baseball about 40 years ago, and it just took up too much of my time.
Baseball and basketball hard. Football's like a weekly thing. Basketball and baseball are almost like a daily thing. But you would be, I bet, I'm going to be honest, Chuck, I think if you did it once, you'd keep doing it because it's a lot of fun. It brings out that
I understand all that. You have to remember, Ty, Major League Baseball right now is filled with general managers who were fantasy league players first. Like John Mozeliak, example. John Mozeliak, general manager of the Cardinals. You know what brought him into professional baseball?
Gambling.
He was a consistent winner in one of these tens of thousands of dollars fantasy leagues.
Oh, wow.
He was a rich kid who basically was a fantasy league champion. And that's what got him into this. Half these analytical guys in Major League Baseball are fantasy league dorks. That's what they are. It's the truth. Baseball people know it. So I don't know. I back to the Sunday ticket though.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
That's what that's what this is all about. That's what props it up. And it's kind of like some of this other stuff. Really doesn't affect me. I guess it affects some people. It doesn't affect me.
So prop bet on the bet, Sarah Snap, over under. Me getting a $3 check is probably gonna be under, unfortunately, instead of 2,000 to 6,000, which they're initially saying.
No, I don't think you're going to be. I don't think you're going to be taking the staff out for dinner on the check that you get.
Well, that's a bummer. I was hoping to be able to do that, but
I don't think you're going to take yourself out to dinner.
Yeah, based on
that you're getting.
Well, $2 or $3, you could get something for $2 or $3 back in the day, Chuck.
A Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Go get you a Happy Meal.
Not it's a little more expensive with how things have gone on. Speaking of that, last thing here on our football discussion before we shift gears, Chuck, I was a lot of different fans, like we're talking about the NFL Sunday ticket affecting fans. Beer prices has been a big point of contention.
Now that affects fans.
Yes. So listen to this. I talked with Tommy about this a week ago. I think you had stepped out of the show at this point. But they've started to calculate in college football, NFL, and major league stadiums the cheapest beer. For the cheapest beer in the Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies average about $3 a beer. TCU and Tulane in football, was surprised about TCU. We're talking about them getting the national championship. They're about $3.
How much beer are you getting though? They're not selling these giant beers for $3.
I think it was 16 ounces. It's not 24.
No way. You're not getting 16 ounces of beer for $3. No way.
It's what it said.
I don't believe that.
Well, man, it's what it said. And then the 16 ounces for the NFL, Chuck, the lowest are the Lions and the Falcons, which are a little over $6 in that. Arkansas, I think they averaged, the highest was like Tennessee at 13. I think Arkansas averaged around like 10. They were tied with a bunch of other schools. But, yeah, that is right. That is people will picket the fences for cheaper beer prices, Chuck.
Well, it's hey, why do you think people fight over liquor licenses? Because their license is to make money, and selling beer, you got a lot of markup in that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It is.
I think the colleges, and I've not really looked at the numbers. My thought when the schools began to do this was, and we saw the prices. It's like, well, they're going to make the prices so high that, hey, if you're willing to pay $10 for a beer, they'll sell you a beer. But I don't know that they went into it. I mean, if you're trying to sell a bunch of beer, you're going to sell it for $7 or $8.
Yeah.
$6 or $7 if you're trying to sell volume. So I think they thought maybe if we'll price them out of the market, they won't drink as much. But and look, maybe that's worked to a certain extent. But I also know people who go to the games that aren't dissuaded at all by paying $10 for a beer. But I'm not really sure if the colleges have turned the kind of profit that people expected them to off the beer sales. Now, they've made money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it hadn't been a big deal. Plus, you got sponsorships that come with it, so that brings a lot of money into the equation as well. But in terms of actual beer sales at colleges, I'm not sure exactly that it's been a big financial boon the way a lot of people think.
Yeah, I would think that looking at the numbers, if we had them in front of us, we would be surprised. We might have thought, oh, it's going to be this, but it might not amount to what we initially thought.
Selling a skybox to somebody where you can drink as much as you want, now those things are going through the roof. Those things are selling like hotcakes. But
there's quite a waiting list in Razorback Stadium, if I've been told right, to get one of those things.
Hey, anybody that says there aren't still a bunch of rich folks out there is not paying attention.
And I do want to get into, Chuck, I don't know if you've got a chance to read some of these pieces. I don't agree with everything. In fact, I don't agree with a lot of what Kent Smith says. But he has written some good stuff on Arkansas.
Who is Kent Smith? Who is this guy?
That's the thing.
No, have you ever met him?
No.
I don't know him, and I'm not being critical at all. I'm just saying I don't know him. I read this stuff online, the online stuff, kind of like everybody else does, but I don't know who. I don't even know if that's his real name. I have no idea. Who is Kent Smith?
That's the main question.
I want to have an official Kent Smith sighting. Yeah. I'm calling Kent Smith out. I want to know who he is and see his face.
Someone listening knows Kent Smith or knows who is parading around.
That's the thing about these internet writers is they're almost like anonymous. They hide behind initials and names, and you don't even know who they are.
And is Kent Smith the most common name out there? I mean,
who is Kent Smith?
And he's got
you get to the bottom of that, Ty. Who is Kent Smith?
He's funny enough, Chuck. He's got his avatar is not a picture of himself. It's just one of those like default avatars. So you have no idea who he is because he doesn't like a lot of people have pictures of themselves online. He doesn't. So I am curious. I don't know who
these guys. These websites cite all these anonymous SEC coaches. How about the anonymous writers? Who are the anonymous writers out there? I'm not knocking his work. I read it, and frankly, I think he's better than most at putting sentences together. I don't know if the things that he writes are entirely true, but he's a good writer. But I have no idea who he is.
Someone knows Kent Smith out there. If you know
who
him,
is Kent Smith?
Text us, call us.
That's our show today. Who is Kent Smith?
Who is Kent Smith? Because I guess back in the day, like in. And I'm forgetting the female author that was one of the most revered authors of all time, but she had to fake being a male as a writer because otherwise they wouldn't print her stuff. Colton, you might have to look that up for me. It's a really famous author, and I can't think of who it is off the top of my head. I don't think Kent's a woman acting as a man, but I'm like you. I've never seen his face. I've never seen what he looks like, and I don't know if he's a real person.
I'm not saying he's not real. I mean, somebody wrote it. Under the name Kent Smith. I just don't know him. I'm just asking you if you know him.
Yeah, I do not. It will be funny though this fall if
is this a Little Rock guy?
I have no idea. Again, no intel whatsoever on him. But it will be funny this fall if this guy comes up to you right before a game, he walks up to you and says, "I'm Kent Smith."
I'd shake his hand. I'd love to meet him. I read this stuff. I just don't know who the hell he is.
I'm like you, man. I have no idea who he is either. But it is something. So we'll get into that. It's a pretty long discussion. It's 4-part. piece that I want to talk about when it comes to Arkansas athletics. And I think you'll find some of it very interesting, including where Arkansas ranks in ticket revenue as well, which I definitely did. Hey, this morning we are brought to you by our friends at APAC Arcola. They have job openings in the Boone, Marion, and Baxter County areas, plus in Northwest Arkansas. So if you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrical, diesel mechanic, or if you have paving or concrete labor experience or in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer. Chuck, I realize now that the house that I'm closing in on Tuesday, I'll have new neighbors that I've had these last couple years. I want to, if you'd allow me to take you to New Palestine, Indiana, where this woman, not once but twice, who's retired, was caught on camera for pooping in her neighbor's yard next to his air conditioning unit. And when she was
that'll show it.
Yeah, when she was, and there's no like details in the story about why she did it.
Clearly, she was upset with it.
It was something. But she's been charged since then with criminal trespassing, criminal mischief, and public nudity. She did not confess to it until they said, "We've got you on camera not once but twice." I mean, he let it go the first time. That's what's wild to me, is he let it go the first time and then didn't. As someone that has been a homeowner for a number of years, what do I need to do outside of my yard to not tick people off?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the backstory there, but whatever he did, she was really upset. Here's the thing, though. I mean, and you just got to realize this now. Those I would say those of us, but those people who are petty and who do things like that, there's a pretty good chance you're on camera. I mean, there's a pretty good chance. And, back in the day, you could say, I wouldn't do anything like that. And people think, well, I can't imagine anyone doing that, so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And now it's like, well, you're on camera, pal. It's over.
Daniel texted on the McLarty Daniel hotline saying it would be funny if that was Zach Arns that did something like that.
Let's start a rumor.
Yeah. JT in Hot Springs saying that is a classy lady right there in New Palestine, Indiana. I had to look up where New Palestine was.
She's a keeper.
I guess, man. Again, retired, 74 years old, nothing to do. So apparently your neighbor ticks you off and you go into his property not once but twice. Do that. I hope I'm never in a situation. All right, you mentioned security, though. I've got to figure out the Ring, Chuck. You have a Ring on your house? That like device in front of your house?
Oh, where you mean like the doorbell camera?
Yeah, the doorbell camera.
Okay.
That device.
Yeah.
I got to figure these things out. There's all these different things I'm having to research and do stuff on that I never had thought of before, but got to get accustomed to it as we venture into this new adventure. All right, we got hour number 2 coming up in just a bit. Football Friday here. Myself, Chuck Barron, and Roman Harper, former Alabama defensive back, joins us on the other side. We're going to get Roman's thoughts on a variety of college football things, particularly in the Southeastern Conference. Roman's also a pretty big golfer, so I'm going to ask him a question or two about that as well. Hour 2 coming up here. Stay with us. ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This season, you pick the deals during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Get a new compact and save $2,300 cash back. Plus, choose 0 for 72 or add a free loader. You pick. Get 0% on select round balers and free net wrap. or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member, stack $2,500 off these already beefy offers. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is The Morning Rush.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Have you tried the TGI Friday weekday deals? On Monday, they have 50-cent wings, traditional or boneless, 10-piece minimum. Tuesday, cheeseburgers and fries with a fountain drink for $10. On Wednesday, Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $12. On Thursday, enjoy a half a rack of ribs for only $12. Stop by and check out the weekday deals at TGI Fridays, I-540 at Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. In here, it's always Friday.
Hot summer soon gives way to fall hunting season. And with the new Arkansas Early Bow Hunt, now is the time to get your new Hoyt Alpha X or the Carbon RX-8 dialed in. Check out the new Lift compounds from Matthews, the bow that puts aluminum in a new light. Sub 4 pounds and shooting 348 feet per second. Jelco Outdoors, your full-line archery store in the River Valley. Get ready for fall bow hunting at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
ESPN Arkansas weather. For today, mostly sunny sky. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be into the lower 90s. Tonight, mainly clear and low 70s. On Saturday, sunshine, slight chance of a shower or storm across the north. High temperatures into the middle 90s, and then a little cooler across the north on Sunday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 62 days.
Scooped up by Harper. And Harper tries to dive in, and it's a touchdown. It's Jackson. Jackson. Roman Harper.
This is former Alabama and All-Pro safety Roman Harper, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
All right, let's just go right to him. Roman Harper, you just heard his intro there. We're excited to have him on this morning with us. Roman, we had a conversation at Media Days a year or so ago, and we talked a little Matt Jones with you, our coworker, guy you had to play against back in the day. And the thing about Matt is he was 6'6", and he ran a 4.4. Arkansas's got a kid on campus that's 6'6", 6'7", not 4.4, but 4'6". Have you drawn any similarities between a guy you competed against and who Arkansas has at quarterback in Taylon Green?
I want to see more out of this guy because he clearly plays in a totally different system than Matt Jones, and so it's just really cool because he's put up real numbers. He's thrown real touchdowns and real stats at Boise State, and I'm looking forward to it. But he is really, really big. He maybe not be as fast as Matt Jones, but I love to see this offense, and I want to see what Bobby Petrino is going to do. And look, the word that keeps coming to my mind when I'm looking at Arkansas for coming into the season is desperation. And that's because, the outside anticipation of what's going to happen with such a great coach. And then, but for me, it's all about the fan base and what are they feeling and what are they telling me by what questions that they ask, and also the perception that is reality until you change it. And so it's got to be desperation for me, and the most desperate team wins in football most of the time. So I don't think it's a bad thing when I use that term, because in my football mind, desperation is a great thing sometimes going into a game.
You mentioned Bobby Petrino there. I think a lot of Arkansas fans are excited to not only what he can see with Taylon Green and this offense. I know you didn't play against Bobby in the college game, but I would guess you maybe matched up with one or two of his offenses at some point in a short stint with the Falcons. What can you tell us?
You don't want to talk about that one.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it. I promise you. You don't want to talk about it.
With y'all being in the same division. But, Roman, maybe from the bird's eye view now of getting a chance to watch it in the analyst chair, what can you tell us about how difficult he makes it on opposing defenses?
Well, you can't deny that he's good. Every offense that he's ever been in control of has always put up really good numbers, and they've always been very effective. And he's been great in the college space. So it's just the other things that maybe some people may have a different opinion about him, but you can't actually deny as far as what he's done as a coach and what his play calling ability is. So that's what it's going to really come down to. And last year I thought Arkansas, the offensive coordinator, seemed like it just didn't fit at the end of the day. They took a huge step back. And I think at the end of the day, offensively, they'll be better. I think Travis Williams continues to build upon what I thought was a solid first year last year defensively. They looked a lot better. They had some really good solid play. They're just thin in a lot of different areas, and that part still hasn't changed. But they do got some really good players in a couple different areas that I really, really like. And the other thing is the scheduling, which we all know really matters in the SEC, especially with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. Nobody's got an easy schedule, but the hardest parts of Arkansas' schedule, at least on paper, all those games are at home. So that that does give you a chance. There's something to be smiling about.
And thank God we don't have to see your Crimson Tide this year. I mean, first time since they joined the league, I was not going to lie, I was pretty happy about that. Roman Harper's with us, former Alabama safety, all-pro safety. I also want to talk about his golf game coming up. But, Roman, you mentioned Travis Williams there, T-Will. First year, they were good. I mean, look at what they did against the first half against a Heisman Trophy winner and Jaden Daniels. Look at what they did against Jaden Milroe Jalen Milroe in Tuscaloosa. They trailed off the end of the season. They got tired. They got gassed. The offense wasn't getting them any help. What are your expectations for him in year 2?
I think they will continue to improve. Like I said, the thing that I liked about Travis Williams is that when I looked at him on defense, I knew what they were running. So, and defense doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple, but you got to play defense with certain couple of aspects. You got to have an edge on the defense. You got to have responsibilities. You got to play with toughness and a sense of urgency. And, you got to know who you are and what is your identity. And that's what Arkansas seemed to have last year. And that is what I do like, because I watch them. I'm like, okay, I get what they're trying to do. I get what they're trying to execute. And yes, offensively, it was a real struggle bus, and that kind of hindered their continued growth because they couldn't continue to put up numbers. Also talked about the lack of depth and explosiveness from certain players. So, but, that's going to come with it. Arkansas has got to continue to build from within, but I really like what they're trying to build. And like I said, Arkansas could be one of those teams where, all right, offensively they're hitting on some strides that nobody really anticipates them doing. They got a 6'7" receiver. They got all these tall players. You got Luke Haas, who I really liked, who kind of came on last year as a young player for you guys as well. So these guys just got to continue to make plays. If Bobby Petrino's able to put them all together, and, that's what it's about. It's the unknown that we never know about. Every year, it's a team that kind of comes out through the SEC that's better than what people anticipate. And maybe not the greatest team, but they're still better, and they knock off teams, and it messes everything up and brings everybody else down and them back up a little bit in the SEC division ranks. Well, there are no more divisions, but within the ranks. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. I want to see if Arkansas is going to be that team, because I really, really like the team. I love the fan base as I got to travel there, and it reminds me a lot of Alabama, just with way more hills. Way more.
It's a lot hillier in Fayetteville than it is Tuscaloosa. I can
way more.
I can testify to that. One of the other guys you competed against was C4, Cedric Cobbs, and I know you've been very complimentary of him. Arkansas had a great running game back in the day, Roman. They had one 2 years ago. Not as much as the last 2 years, not as consistent, I should say. You talk about controlling on defense. How important is it for Sam Pittman to kind of reestablish that offensive line and really control the offense from the line of scrimmage this year?
Well, I thought that was a big drop-off. It was not so much, there just were no holes to run to. And, Sam Pittman is a great offensive line coach. And so you anticipated them being better, being more consistent, and that's what they lost. And all of a sudden now everything else starts to trickle off after that. The offense felt differently last year. But they got to bounce back. They still got some big guys up there, and I want to trust Sam Pittman on that more than anything else, because he is such a great offensive line coach. He's one of the better ones we have in the SEC. So he's got to get that thing sewed up, because he knows if he doesn't have that, they don't have a chance. And if Arkansas doesn't do well this year, I mean, who's to say who's going to be the head coach there? And I'm not here to debate on that. I'm going to let the Arkansas people figure that out. I would be here to wonder about you guys. How do you feel about it? Because that's why I said desperation has got to be something we talk about.
Roman, tell me about Bama's new coach, Kalen DeBoer. Give me the inside scoop as a graduate of the University of Alabama. I'm expecting them to be good, not obviously what Nick Saban was, maybe 9 or 10 wins. What are you expecting of the Crimson Tide this fall?
Well, that is the expectation. If you don't get that, I think it's going to be a lot of disappointment. For me personally, I actually got to meet Kalen DeBoer. I like him as a person. I like him as a man. I think he's a great coach. I mean, the record you cannot deny. You don't win those type of games. Has been as successful as he's just an average guy. So he is a special coach. And but at the end of the day, I think the situation is what actually bothers me or worries me a little bit more than actually the coach. And that is replacing the GOAT. I don't think that's worked out in anybody's favor in any sport at any point in time in history. It's only been a few select times that's worked, and usually it's been a hire from within. And this is not a hire from within. This is I wouldn't say a complete rebuild, but man, they brought in a lot of different coaches from a lot of different areas. But the positive things that you're seeing is the recruiting that you're hearing about that they're doing right now, which is the one big scare that everybody thought that Alabama was not going to be able to do under Kalen DeBoer was their hiring processes, or their recruiting would not be as good because they're not used to the area. But you're hearing some really opposite opinions about that, and I think that has to do with a lot of things that the coaching staff and the GM that he brought in and all these other things. So he's got these things figured out, and it's actually been pretty interesting to see and watch. But once again, they still got to go out there and prove it on the field, because that's what it's all about. We can talk all preseason we want, but you still got to go out there and win ball games.
Chatting with Roman Harper, McLarty Daniel Hotline, former Alabama All-Pro safety. Roman, I think it's pretty consensus that Georgia's the best team in this league. I think the question becomes, who's number 2? Is it Ole Miss? Is it Texas? Is it LSU? Who do you maybe have as the number 2 team in the Southeastern Conference right now?
For me, I guess it's easy to say Texas, but for me, I'm not going to drink the Texas Kool-Aid. I need Texas to prove it on the field. Last year seemed like almost like a surprise, or not really a surprise, but they won games that we kind of didn't think that they would win, including the Alabama game. But then they went out there and lost to Oklahoma, and that's got to be who Texas is not anymore. They got 3 games on their schedule. I mean, you can talk about the Michigan game, but Texas, they should go up there and pretty much put it on this Michigan team. Last year was a loaded, older Michigan team. They're not that team anymore. This year they should go out there and do what they need to do. They got Oklahoma, they have Georgia at home, and then they got Texas A&M at Texas A&M late in the season. Other than that, Texas should be running their thing. So, and when they win those games, then I'll be more excited about it. But for right now, I'm just, hey, these are my expectations of what you should be, including about what you bring back from last year. So that's what they need to do. So I'm not super excited. It's more than just like, I'm just waiting for you to just go out there and be the person you're supposed to be. They're a team with a whole bunch of potential, which to me is probably one of the worst compliments you can get in sports, because that means you ain't done it yet. So, but that is what I see when I see Texas. Ole Miss is a team that Lane has found a way to try and make these guys competitive. And I think what Ole Miss has done and their success and the way Lane has done it is really put a lot more pressure on these other teams that have not always been known as the SEC powerhouse. But you see a team like Ole Miss who's really building up and really getting these things going, doing it a different way, and having a lot of success doing it. It puts a lot of pressure on the other, what people would consider mid-tier or that second-tier SEC team. Well, Ole Miss is up there now, and they're going to be up there for a little while, especially with Lane continuing to have the success that they have. But they got the quarterback. They got the best skill position groups in the SEC as a whole, with all the receivers that they have, bringing in Juice Wells from South Carolina. Defensively, they got some NFL talent now for the first time, I would say. I told somebody earlier, this is the most NFL-ready roster I've ever seen at Ole Miss since I've seen Ole Miss, and I think in their history, honestly. So, and so Ole Miss would be a team to beat too. But, you know, their schedule's not as, I wouldn't say easy, because I don't think any schedule's easy in the SEC right now, but it's not as, you know, but they got to be, when you look at them on paper, they're supposed to win these games. And so you got to go out there and do what you got to do. They have Georgia at home, which would be a tough one. But one thing for Ole Miss is the same thing you said about Arkansas. They don't play Alabama for the first time in a long time, which has been their Achilles heel. So that gives you a chance right there alone. Like mentally, I don't have that block. It's like playing against your older brother. Like, I'm a better athlete than my older brother, but I've never beat him. So it's just weird.
And if you look at schedule-wise, I think Missouri might have the easiest of any Southeastern Conference team, at least on paper.
Agreed.
Agreed. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Ron, before we let you go,
but they lost a ton on defense though, so we'll see how they go with that though. You know,
and they lose Schrader as well on offense, so that's something to keep in mind for Eli Drinkwitz. All right, before we let you go, man, last time I saw you, you had your golf clubs on Sunday. We'll be in Dallas a couple weeks from now. You already got a tee time. How's the handicap looking?
Oh, bro, it's getting not good. But I am hitting the ball decent on the range, but it is off of mat, though. So, you know, that thing a lot to you sometimes. But today is going to be all about off the tee, man. If I'm landing the ball off the tee, I got a chance.
Okay. Roman Harper, Alabama and NFL All-Pro safety. Roman, we appreciate you joining us this morning, man.
Hey, man, thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. Can't wait to see you guys out there in Arkansas. Thank you.
All right, good stuff from Roman, ESPN, SEC, college football, SEC football analyst. And Chuck, as we bring you back in, the word he kept coming back was to desperation with this football team. And we saw them play with desperation on the road a few times. I mean, you come within 3 points of LSU, Alabama, and basically a one-score game against Ole Miss for the duration. I just hope he mentioned the differences between the home schedule and away. I hope you kind of see that desperation at home this year, because you've got some marquee games this fall.
Well, I'll go back to something I said yesterday. We were kind of in a quick segment, and I just think it comes down to close games for Arkansas. I think that's where they are as a program right now. They can compete in a lot of games. When they went to the Outback Bowl that season, they won every close game. They got every break. The close games just went their way. Since then, it hasn't really been like that. And the close games, the breaks seem to have gone the other way. And that's going to tell the story again this year. I really believe that. Now, there may be a game or two out there where Arkansas gets kicked. There may be a game or two out there where they do the kicking. But I think for the most part, these are going to be fourth quarter games, to use that cliche.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be a handful of plays that decide those games. I don't think it's a matter of, necessarily playing with desperation. I mean, Roman knows that what we don't, that, every play out there, you're in a, you can find yourself in a desperate hour very quickly. So I think everyone plays with a degree of desperation. At least that's been my observation. But I think look, we get this idea sometimes that if guys will just, play a little bit harder or play with a little bit more attitude or, want it a little bit more or this or that'll be the tipping point. Sometimes it's talent. Sometimes you get beat because the other guys are better, just flat out better. And there are some teams on Arkansas's schedule this year that I worry that they may be better. But there are also teams on that schedule that I think if they can come out the winner in those 4 or 5 plays, they've got a chance to win a close game. That's kind of how I see it right now. When you look at this coming season, whether they play with desperation or not, Taylon Green's going to be a big key to the offense. I don't think he's got to play with desperation every play for Arkansas to be successful. So I get what he's saying, and I'm not being disagreeable. But I'm saying a lot of times it just flat out comes down to talent.
I think one of the things I'm on the subject of close games that I'm monitoring is anytime you lose an NFL kicker, which was what Cam Little is, drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's going to be drop-off, I would think. And he kept Arkansas in a lot of games last season with some 50-plus yard kicks. It's fair to say that they're not going to have the same.
Well, but Ty, how many games did Cam Little decide? I mean, there were a handful here and there. My point is that when we talk about winning close games, people think about making a field goal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how you play in the red zone. Do you score a touchdown instead of having to settle for a field goal? Now, there are times when clearly your kicker and your special teams in close games, they can tip the scale one way or the other. I think it's about making a play in a critical moment is what I was talking about.
And they did have to settle for field goals and didn't have the best red zone conversion last year, which probably attributed to some of those losses. Their close losses they were talking about. So
I mean, you think about some of those red zone failures and what they did in terms of deciding ball games.
Yeah, so hopefully they will be better in that. We'll continue to react to kind of what Roman had to say. Your calls and texts are more than welcome on the McLarty Daniel hotline as well. This morning we're brought to you by our friends at Farm Credit. Do you need some help with your existing home? Or are you starting from the ground up? Either way, check out Farm Credit of Western Arkansas before you get started. Find out why for more than 100 years they've been helping Arkansans just like you. They have 25 locations across Arkansas, and you can check them out online at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com for Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. Again, 25 locations across the state. We'll get into our Morning Rush Daily question in just a bit. Here it is. If you weren't doing the job you're currently doing now, what would it be? Chuck was messing with me a little bit about being a farm boy. I know I could not work on the farm. I'm not cut out for that. I've got a little country blood in me. Not a lot, though. Not enough to work from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just not cut out for that. But if you're not doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? That's our daily question, and it's next.
This is Football Friday on the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This is the Morning Rush.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The clerk will wait for an answer.
So we were having some fun yesterday, talking about me being a farm boy. And as we were talking about it, I was thinking about what would I do if I wasn't doing sports radio? What would you do if you weren't doing your current job? And that is our Morning Rush daily question this morning, brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. Chuck, I'll start. I think I would probably be where I was when I initially started school, which is an accountant. I started in, I guess my curriculum was based around that. Thought I was going to do that. Decided I didn't want to crunch numbers. So I would be probably working for hopefully a Big Four, maybe PwC like my brother-in-law did for a little bit because it's in Northwest Arkansas. And I think I would be an accountant of some sort. Probably get fired down the road, but I think I would be a accountant if I wasn't doing radio.
Evidently, you think you'd be a good one, too, if you worked for one of the Big Four out there.
Yeah, good work ethic. Not the smartest guy, but willing to take its lumps here and there. That's what I think I'd be doing. What do you think you'd be doing if you were in radio?
Well, it's been 40 years, so I don't really know. I mean, that's a question for someone younger than me. I mean, I have no idea what I'd be doing. Maybe a weatherman.
A weatherman, like old Ruskin, like when he started his career.
Maybe a weatherman. I have no idea.
That'd be fun to see you do weather on the air. I think that'd be. I think listeners would enjoy seeing you do that. That's hard, man. I feel like that's a hard thing because if you're wrong,
you only got to be right 50% of the time.
Oh, you think so? I feel like.
I mean, you say it might rain. There's a 60% chance it's going to rain. There's a 40% chance it's not. Make your call.
Just here and there.
I mean, these guys act like they're giving you some real info. There's an 80% chance of rain. They better grab an umbrella. Oh, well, I'd have never thought of that. I mean, thank God they're there.
Just to help us out in these situations. That is your Morning Rush daily question. We might get to some of your responses here. It's brought to you by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com. All right, it happened, Chuck. The Los Angeles Lakers, with the 55th pick in the second round, drafted Bronny James. According to Bob Myers, Rich Paul was telling NBA teams prior to that round that Bronny would go play in Australia before he played on any team outside of Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is the first time in NBA history where a father and son have actually been on the same team. Technically, they haven't suited up yet, but there's been some good ones that have, good generationally, like Jelly Bean Bryant and the late Kobe Bryant, Rick Barry, Brent Barry, Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Bill Walton, Luke Walton, Gary Payton and his son, the Sabonis but this is the first time it's ever happened actually on a court.
It's the first time it's ever happened with a player who's not a legitimate NBA player.
And
those other guys were all legitimate NBA players.
Yep.
Bronny's not a legitimate NBA player. I don't look. This is and it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care what they do. But this is the Lakers allowing LeBron to, they're paying tribute to LeBron, and the league basically let it happen, and all the other teams let it happen. This is what LeBron wants, and look, if Michael Jordan years ago had been in this situation, if Michael Jordan had a kid that was like this, same thing would have happened. I don't fault LeBron for wanting to get his son to the NBA. I can't fault him for that, but, I mean, I'm sure Bronny's a good kid and all that, and I've never heard a bad word about him, frankly. Never been any scandal, never been anything with LeBron or his family. I give him credit for that, but come on. He's played 1 year of college, barely. I mean, he
5
didn't even
points.
play a year.
Yeah, he
averaged less than 5 points a game. I mean, he's now look. They may, and I suspect will, give him a roster spot. There's going to be that moment, and ESPN's going to act like it's the greatest moment in the history of basketball. This is not Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr.
That's where I was
Those guys were both legit. This is not legit, and that's why people aren't going to be wrapped up in it. That's why fans aren't going to respond to it the way they have other instances, because this is not legit, and they know it.
Chuck, I watched a highlight of Senior and Junior the other day where Junior stepped in front of his dad on an outfield play and took the ball, and his own crowd started booing him, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, those guys were warranted. This is not. Here's what I'll say. I've separated this into two camps. I think the Lakers are at fault, And I give every bit of credit for LeBron for making this happen. Because if I was in the situation, you mentioned Michael being in the situation with his son. If I was in the situation with my son, I would try and make it happen. So I'm actually with LeBron on this. But if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, the second most storied franchise in the NBA, this is embarrassing how far they've fallen. And I know when they won a title with LeBron a couple years ago, but he has taken over that franchise. And that's not what you want. There's too many great players, too many great moments in the history of that organization where you should have one guy dictate what the future looks like for years to come. And I think Los Angeles fans are angry this morning, and were angry last night when it happened.
Well, here's the thing, though. In defense of the only defense for the Lakers, in my estimation on this, is that a late second-round draft pick's not going to flip your franchise anyway. I mean,
that's true.
If you're dependent on a late second-round pick to change your fortunes, I mean, good luck with that part. The problem with this is he's going to take a legitimate NBA player's roster spot.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's only because of LeBron's stroke, so to speak, that the Players Association would allow something like this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's only because of LeBron's stature that the union would allow an illegitimate player to replace a legitimate player. There's no way they would allow that to happen if it wasn't LeBron. And I got nothing against LeBron. I think LeBron takes a lot of unfair heat, frankly. You never heard a peep of scandal in his life. Same wife, same kids, same I mean, he's never really changed. He's been the same LeBron from beginning to the end. He's old now. He's still doing things. Old, I mean, by NBA standards, he's old. He's still doing things that players 10 years his junior can't do and never will be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud LeBron for many of the things he's done in his career and the way he's handled his business. I got no issue with him at all. But that doesn't mean that you get to put yourself above the game. And it doesn't mean that you get to be a bad steward of the game. And I think basketball people look at it as a joke.
Yeah.
And that's unfair to Bronny because I'm sure he's a good guy. But this is not a good situation. But, again, I lost about, 0 seconds of sleep over it last night, and I'll lose the same amount tonight.
Yeah, I texted in from Chris on the McLarty Dinner Hotline saying it's a good business decision because the amount of money that they'll sell and the combination, the duo on this, the market. I mean,
what are they going to sell? What are they going to sell? They're going to
Jerseys.
sell jerseys?
Yeah, jersey sales are going to be through the roof.
Well, let me tell you something. If you're dependent on Bronny jersey sales to change your fortunes, good luck with that. We have this idea in sports, it's permeated sports, that making money is more important than winning.
Oh, I agree.
And it's not. That's why fans have turned against it. It's why fans turn against college teams. It's why fans turn against pro teams.
Mm-hmm.
When they start feeling like you believe making money is more important than winning, when you get your scoreboards confused, that's when fans turn on you. And, hey, if I was a Laker fan, I wouldn't be mad about it, but I would be feeling kind of like Cardinal fans have felt for the last 10 years. Nostalgia does not bring you championships.
Mm-hmm.
Nostalgia sells a few tickets, and that's all that it does. It makes you money, so you begin to think you're good and successful. While your fortune's on the field, or in this case on the floor, go to a place you wouldn't want to go. All right, let me stop just for a second. I got to talk about Weichert before we go on. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. My partners, Ty's partner now. Those of you who have been partners with Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, over the years, and they've been around for a long time, know what I'm talking about when I talk about the best trained agent in the business. Weichert's got a great training program. And that doesn't mean that, hey, why don't you come in and we'll hang out for an hour and I'll tell you about the business. It's a lot more extensive than that. They know the ins and outs. And I'm not just talking about the ins and outs of how to sell a house or how to buy a home, how to make the most money as an agent. I'm talking about the ins and outs of the business that serve you as a customer. Because, look, you're spending a lot of money, probably the most money you've ever spent in your life. If you're going to partner with someone in a transaction like that, they better care about you. Because if they don't, you're going to get taken. And that's just kind of how the world works these days. What I can tell you is my experience with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is I knew I had a partner. We communicated. They knew exactly what I wanted. They made it happen. First as a buyer, then as a seller, and then as a buyer again. I'd recommend them wholeheartedly. I think your experience will be like mine. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. You're talking about their new office in Branson, and you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
Chuck, I don't know if you noticed this or knew this was coming. I just assumed that the second part of the draft was going to be last night at 7, like the first night was. Turns out.
Yeah, you had that debate last night.
I mean, and I was.
Didn't want to run up against that.
Yeah. But one of the things, like, you didn't have, I don't want to go there, but one of the things that, like, I didn't even, like, I turned the television on, and it was like, yeah, all this had happened, and maybe I should have had the foresight to see what time it was, but I'm going through all these picks. There's not really a ton of notable picks. It's kind of like the first round. There were just a ton of players that stood out. Harrison Ingram, a guy you played, went to the Spurs, North Carolina Tar Heel. Tristan Newton, another guy you played 2 years ago with Connecticut, what goes to the Pacers. I like what your Knicks did. Drafting Tyler Kolek, or however you say his name, that's a late pick. That kid can ball. But there's just like outside of Bronny, there was no storyline out of yesterday at all from this.
Well, you look at you look around the NBA right now. There are players out there who became great NBA players out of colleges. I guess what I'm driving at is you don't see the guy that comes in out of college as a first or a second-year guy and just kind of like changes the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Or you begin to see the franchise build around them. You don't see that as much, it doesn't seem, with the college guy. There are exceptions, and one of them's right over here to our west. But a lot of these teams now, and you were talking about the Knicks there, biggest thing they did this week was trade for Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
The draft doesn't have anything to do with their fortunes. It just tells you who the guys at the end of the bench are going to be. Some NBA teams are like that. And more, the players that come in and have immediate impacts are the European players. There are exceptions, but a lot of these European players come in and they have immediate impact. And you just got to, as we've discussed, the game's so global now that the best players aren't just in the United States.
It's definitely changed some people's thinking and some executives' thinking on that. We might come back to this later on in the show, but just really not a lot of that yesterday. Chuck, this weekend, for a lot of people, you're going to start taking advantage of fireworks. You've got a couple events going on in Northwest Arkansas. Tomorrow night at Prairie Grove High School, Sunday at Pea Ridge, at Discover Church, and then also at Cross Church. My number one firework is a mortar, the big old ones. I've shot them off in places I probably shouldn't, including neighborhoods. What is your favorite? What was your go-to firework?
I just like a good old-fashioned Roman candle.
There you go.
But now, as a kid, you put it in either a bottle or a brick or something like that.
You shoot them at your buddy.
Then you become a teenager and you begin to hold the Roman. Those are the guys that really. It's nothing like watching a guy on the 4th of July after about his 7th beer. So I think I'm going to hold the Roman candle this time. And but I would say that's my favorite. My favorite fireworks now are the ones other people shoot off. I'm sitting in a chair watching. Those are the ones I like.
Nothing wrong with that. Take advantage of while you can. But those are some of the events that are going on this weekend. We'll tell you about some of the other events going on next weekend. Regardless of what event you go to or that you perform, be safe. There should be a beer limit like there is getting behind the wheel of a vehicle, because
shooting fireworks while intoxicated should be a crime. You should have your fireworks patrol out there the way they patrol late at night for DWEs.
Just make sure that everyone is not under the influence in that. I think some people would try to avoid that as much as possible. All right, we still got our hog update coming up. Hester Kerstad back in the majors, hit a bomb the other night. We'll tell you about that. Some other hog news, including a thing or two that we didn't get to yesterday with John Calipari and Dave Van Horn. But for now, we talk about Gaston's White River Resort. We always talk about it here at this time because it's awesome. Clint, Jacob, their entire team do a phenomenal job. Check them out at gastons.com, on Facebook. They've got these lodges and private accommodations where you can cook, and want to go get food from the great restaurant, you can do that as well. fishing trip, weekend away with the wife, doesn't matter. 870-431-5202. One more time for Clint and his team at Gaston's. 870-431-5202. Or check them on online at Gastons.com. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time. Every time.
This is Football Friday on the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
All the Road Hogs have the hog calls and the tailgate ready to roll.
Hey, this is Tyron.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar.
Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you...
First one to dead center field. And it's a 2-hit, 3 RBI start to the night for Heston Kjerstad. Welcome back to the big leagues, young man.
Chuck, he's an Orioles fan favorite. I know that he's kind of been going back and forth a little bit. We've had the conversation about what they should do with him, trade him, do something. I mean, you got to figure out what you want to do. But I was happy for him and just getting that homer.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of so many good young players on that team. You know, I don't know what they'll do. They've got some things to sort out in terms of personnel, but all of them are good options. I mean, sometimes when you talk about a guy's future with a team or whether or not he's going to be traded, it's because he's not any good. But, you know, you look at Kjerstad and you think about what he's been able to do so far, and you draw an analogy to basketball with Moody out there at Golden State.
Yep.
You know, and then you think about a guy like Isaiah Joe who really benefited from moving to a new destination. And I know those are different sports. I understand that. You know, Kjerstad, and I don't watch it closely enough, I don't know if he's ready to play every day. They may be handling him perfectly, and I'm sure they've got a plan. But, yeah, I mean, he got all of that ball, that's for sure.
Knocked it way out of the park. All right, other news in your Hog Update. Calipari had a bunch of things to say on Pat McAfee earlier this week, including on your athletics director, Hunter Yurachek.
Hunter Yurachek, and he does a great job. He calls me 4 times a week in the morning saying, what can I do to help you? What?
Very emphatic about that, Chuck. But again, this is a big part of this relationship. I know that we always kind of parallel the football head coach to the athletics director, but it seems like they've got a real good relationship to start. And the reporting from out of Lexington was that Mitch Barnhart, their athletics director, and Calipari's, and you can say it's true or not, but at least the report was it was starting to deteriorate a little bit towards the end of his tenure. So it sounds like, at least to start, it's strong between those two.
Well, I think Hunter's got a good relationship with all of our coaches. That's been my observation. He wants to win. I'm certain of that. He's a competitor. And, yeah, I mean, they've hired John Calipari. So, I mean, you're all in.
Last thing here in your Hog Update. Dave Van Horn alluded to something on the schedule. Didn't give a lot, but just listen. It sounds like something Arkansas baseball's got for next season.
I don't think it's been announced, but we're going to play our last couple of days. We're going to play out of town, a couple of teams in a pretty cool spot. So we'll inform you on that later when I think it gets put out there.
I think that's leading up to, if I remember right, that was some fall scrimmages, but Chuck, sounds like that Arkansas might have something that they have to look forward to for baseball on the
So you're
schedule.
talking about something in the fall or something?
I think that's what he was referring to. So I know that Arkansas fans always love playing in different places and might have something else where baseball.
Well, you got to remember, I mean, anything in the fall is an exhibition game.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a practice, basically what it would be. But I don't know the context of what he said, but sounds like maybe they've got something brewing there.
We'll see. That's your Hog Update, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You got to put up with Benny McLarty. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, as we welcome in our friend Sean from the Fence Man this morning here on a Fence Man Friday, we've got some prop bet picks to go coming up with not just Heston Kerstad, Andrew Benintendi, and others. Sean, you were listening to the program earlier. You don't think I'd make a good accountant, sounds like. I'm with you, man. I'm glad I'm in this profession. I don't think I'm a great radio host, but my gosh, I'd be a terrible accountant.
Well, you know, you got that nice smooth voice going on over there, you know.
Try to...
I would have all the people in his cubicle talking about the ball game last night, and they wouldn't be getting any work done.
Well, I don't know. I think he's got one of those OxyClean selling voices, you know.
From time to time. We were one of the things that I was telling you during the break, there was an incident in New Palestine, Indiana, where apparently one neighbor didn't have a quality enough fence to prevent another neighbor for coming over and doing something to their house with feces. So that's why this guy should have called you all the way up to Indiana, I guess.
Great fences make great neighbors. And some of those fences need to be built a little taller. Yeah.
Secure fences with locks.
And what some other people don't know, we have things called a coyote roller that you can put on the outside of your fence. And it's like your mama's rolling pin that's put on top of the fence. And it keeps animals from crawling over the fence.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have something called a perfect fence. It's a big old cat containment system we can put on top of a fence. So, like I said, we do more than just privacy fence and chain link. We got some crazy stuff going on. Yeah.
Keep the squirrels out.
And everything else. All right. We'll talk more about that and our picks coming up.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
So I guess it's the Orioles and the Rangers later on tonight. Max Scherzer back on the mound. I think he played a little earlier this week. His over-under, guys, right now is 4.5 innings for the Rangers. Does he go 5 innings tonight? I know he was pushing to come back. Chuck, I say yes. I think Max is going to go 5 innings against Heston and the Orioles tonight.
I think he's going to get shelled. I think he's going to be out early.
What do you think, Sean?
He'll go 5 innings.
Okay.
Well, come on hot.
Hopefully Heston will be one of the guys that shells him, Chuck. You look at the Bet Saracen app right now, there's a lot of prop bet odds for Heston, including plus 575 for a home run. Does Heston go back-to-back on home runs at plus 575?
Wow.
I think he might.
So lay down a C note tonight, and if he goes yard, you win $575.
That's a
Is
lot
that
of
the
money.
story?
That's the story, man.
Are you going to jump in on that?
I think I might have to. I like what I saw from him. I think
you put big money down. You're going to put down a couple of bucks.
I don't know if I can go C note, but we'll put some money down. Now here's the real money. Here's the real money, guys. For plus 2,500 if he hits a triple. So you got better odds if he hits a home run than a triple tonight for Heston Kerstad.
Well,
Johnny, you think if you're going to bet on one, would you bet on him to hit a triple or a home run?
I think a triple is probably a little bit more attainable.
Attainable? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Triple's hard. Triple's hard. He's not going to hit a triple.
You just need a.
That's why it's plus 2,500.
Just need a
He's
lucky
a slow white kid. He's not going to hit a triple.
Well, you gotta hope everybody else kind of I can't even spit it out. Trips, falls,
and just gets lucky in that situation.
It's a good official score if he's going to get a triple.
Andrew Benintendi also plus 175 to get 2 RBIs tonight. So there's always prop bets when you come to Fenceman Friday picks, and hopefully Let's hopefully win this plus 2,500 with Essen tonight. Hopefully gets this triple, man.
You probably have put better. Yeah, you probably put better money on dumber stuff.
That's probably a good way to look. You haven't invested better money though in a fence, and like you said, good fences make great neighbors.
Make great neighbors. Give us a call. They're at the shop 782-3936. Come out and let's come out and give you a free quote. We'd love to put you in a beautiful, wonderful fence.
479-782-3936. Sean at the Fence Man, ain't afraid of no work. Sean, appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys. You have a great 4th.
All right, hour 3 coming up next.
This season, you pick the deals during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Get a new compact and save $2,300 cash back. Plus, choose 0 for 72 or add a free loader. You pick. Get 0% on select round balers and free net wrap. Or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member? Stack $2,500 off these already beefy offers. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get financing as low as 0.9% for 36 months with approved credit and $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sody's.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly sunny sky. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be into the lower 90s. Tonight, mainly clear and low 70s. On Saturday, sunshine, slight chance of a shower or storm across the north. High temperatures into the middle 90s, and then a little cooler across the north on Sunday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 62 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Oh, really? Have you been on a track?
Legitimately.
Tell me the truth.
Yes, legitimately. And right outside of Morrilton, Hattieville, St. Vincent area. Big old Flint Martin farm, baby. That's the family farm.
Well, you talk like a farm boy, so that's the reason I was asking.
Yeah. People think Ty Richards, they say, hey, that's a blue-collar kid growing up.
Farm boy, just, country boy.
Country boy. Yeah, country club boy, more like it. I need to get back on. I
didn't mean to throw you there.
No.
I was just picturing you on a tractor as you were talking about that.
I need to get back to my roots, Chuck. I need to I give up this radio thing and
get back to the tennis court or the soccer field or wherever it is you grew up.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
And we welcome you into a beautiful hour number 3 on a football Friday, where we're just 62 days, basically 2 months out from Razorback football, beginning Thursday at 6:30 against UAPB in War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. I do want to talk some football coming up. I want to talk about Arkansas athletics as a whole. Who is Kent Smith? Who is he? I would love to know who that actually is. He's written a 4-piece part to Arkansas athletics and some financials that I think a lot of you will find interesting when it comes to where Arkansas ranks relative to its SEC counterparts. We'll get into that coming up in just a bit. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about our friends at MD Hair Labs and Vitality Center. They have you covered with their expert testosterone replacement theory, weekly in-clinic injections, convenient at-home prescriptions, or their super easy TRT pellet program that only requires a visit every 4 to 6 months. It's conveniently located in Rogers, Arkansas, right near Topgolf, and free consultations, which they have, plus on-site testosterone tests for just $49. It's the perfect time to check your levels and see if they are if TRT is right for you. Just head over to mdhairlabs.com to schedule your free consultation. That's mdhairlabs.com. Get back to feeling your best with MD Hair Labs and Vitality.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by McLarty Daniel. McLarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McLartyDaniel.com to find your next ride.
All right, so some of you know what I'm talking about when it comes to these articles. I would say a lot of you don't. Here's kind of the overall view of this 4-part piece. Basically, Kent goes in and compares Arkansas athletics from a money standpoint with 4 different parts: ticket sales, corporate sponsorships and advertising, TV revenue, and then donations as well. A lot of this research and info comes from Knight Newhouse and college database, so it's backed up from there. Chuck, as I'm reading these 4 articles that I was sent yesterday, I found it interesting that Arkansas is second in ticket sales revenue in the SEC since 2005, which I was blown away by when I initially read it. We'll get to the other stuff coming up, but that's kind of staggering to me that they're number 2, only trailing Texas A&M.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the service where he gets his information from. I don't. Some of that has to do with, I'm sure, the price of tickets, the number of tickets. I don't know exactly how they come up with that, their standings, I guess, is what I'm saying, and what constitutes ticket revenue and what might go into a different category.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, so since 2005, Arkansas has finished, and now I'm like you, there's little details within the overall ticket revenue sphere that I'm not necessarily 100% on, but they've only finished outside the top 5 once since 2005.
Well, the gist of these articles, from what I gather, is what we've already known and what we've known for years and years and years, is that this is a small, poor state by comparison. The people who are able to go to games and buy tickets will do that. The financial resources that Arkansas has are not going to include the same amount of donation money that some of the teams they compete against have, because it's just a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
It's population. You look at and I read in one of the articles, I think, and that you've got as many people, you've got as many millionaires living in a 4 or 5 block radius of Dallas, for example. You got more there than you do in the whole state
Highland
of
Park.
Arkansas.
Yep.
So that's true. And look, every few years somebody writes a detailed piece, and basically they should all be titled, "Why Aren't We Winning More in Football?" That's what the title of all the articles should be. Why aren't we winning more in football?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they're trying to answer. And Arkansas is always going to be near the bottom in donations. That's nothing new, and that's not a commentary on who the coaches are. It's been this way forever. It's a numbers game. So that was my takeaway from the whole thing is, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but I mean, I already knew that.
Well, what I wanted to point out is the fact that I thought the ticket sales being number 2 was high. I thought the fact when you combine the corporate sponsorships and advertising to the ticket sales, they're still at number 2, which I found high. Now, the discrepancy and the difference that you mentioned with donations, where they basically rank outside the top 10, makes sense. And there's like a $600 million difference between Texas A&M and Arkansas in the last 10 years. But I was just more surprised at the ticket sales and corporate.
Well, but you shouldn't be, because, Ty, if you're running a business and you're trying to figure out where your revenue is going to come from, and you know your customer base is small,
mm-hmm.
and you know your customer base by comparison is poor, well, you got to make up for it in other areas. So if they know that donations, just by the math involved, if they know they're going to be down, well, they know they got to make up for that in other areas. And so, you devise a plan to do that. And for example, I don't know if ticket revenue is just purely ticket sales or the things that you have to do to qualify to buy a ticket. I don't know. I don't know how they came up with those numbers. And so
is beer included in that too? I was
well,
thinking about that.
you just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what constitutes ticket revenue. I guarantee it's not just the sale of tickets.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's a 4-part piece. The ticket sales, the corporate sponsorships, and the donations are 3 parts. The other aspect to one of these pieces, Chuck, is the television revenue. And one of the interesting things that Kent points out in his article is Kentucky made $627 million in media revenue, which I believe is number one, not number one, but it's high up there comparatively, and that's partially due to John Calipari. So you're talking about making up in other areas, right? I wonder if Arkansas, these next, let's say Cal's 5 years, he's a 5-year window with Arkansas, how much potentially they can recoup and make up from that aspect, because they're not trailing in corporate sponsorships, they're not trailing in ticket sales, they're not terrible in TV revenue, but if they're not great, they're just towards the bottom of donations and will be with Texas and Oklahoma in the league. I wonder how much Arkansas can maybe close that gap with TV revenue, because Kentucky has seemed to help themselves tremendously with Cal the last 15 years, and I wonder if Arkansas can kind of take advantage at the next 5, where, I mean, not levels the playing field, but definitely helps bolster that area with things to come down the road.
I've not given that a second thought. I got to be honest. I've not seen television revenue at Kentucky tip the scales in their favor in anything. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not competitive. I'm not saying that they're not good and a team that could beat you, but I've not seen any evidence that whatever they brought in terms of media revenue at Kentucky, I mean, that's not tipped the scales. You're talking about a scoreboard fans don't care about. Fans don't care about this scoreboard. They don't care if you're last in donations. They don't care if you're first in ticket sales. They want to know what that scoreboard reads at the end of the ball game on Saturday afternoon. Pieces like this are interesting. They're, I guess, interesting summer fodder. But there's nothing in that story, frankly, that we've not already known. And, again, you could title every one of these stories, "Why Aren't We Good in Football?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the gist of all of them. And if it was as simple as, revenue, then, it would be very simple. I'll just put it that way.
Well, is the more important thing that Colton has found a picture of what Kent Smith looks like, Chuck, or at least a picture on his avatar? We were asking that question earlier. We have found.
I don't know the guy. I mean, and I'm not being critical when I say that. I'm just saying I don't know him.
We have found what he looks like. He actually has something on his, I guess, his X profile. So we now have something that we can actually cling to, because I know that people are wondering, who is this guy? Because I want to know who this guy. I feel like that got a good idea. I think
here's what happens on stories like this, Ty. On these internet websites that are not like in the paper or on things that people go to every day, they're totally dependent on situations just like this, where it gets brought up as though it's an insightful piece. And, again, respectfully, I have nothing against Kent Smith. I don't know him. But there's not anything in there that's brand new. I mean, it's been the same story for decade after decade.
Well, I think the question you asked after yourself, if you're an Arkansas fan, listen, I think the important context of this 4-part piece is can you win in football trailing at such a deficit? And that's kind of one of the things I took away.
You know the answer to that.
Well, I don't know what it was prior to, again, this stuff is 2005 and beyond, right? Or 2005 to now. Arkansas has had success.
I think, respectfully, I think everybody's reading too much into this. This has nothing to do with what's going to happen this coming fall. I mean, it really doesn't. It does give you a general picture, but it's a picture we've already seen a million times. We already know that by comparison, we're not going to have the money that the other schools have. We already know that. And again, that's not the scoreboard fans pay attention to. It's just not.
They want to know what's going to happen on the field.
You got to win some games.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. Win games.
Each and every Saturday.
Win games, and all this other stuff takes care of itself. But it's a question of which comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to win without money. In fact, when you look at our history in the Southeastern Conference, we are the poster boy for how hard it is to win without money by comparison. But again, we're really delving off into the weeds here, and again, hey, it's a well-written article, but it's old news.
I did find it interesting. We had Roman Harper on earlier, Chuck, in hour number 2, and he talked about how he felt like that Arkansas's bigger games were at home, which last year there was no question. You played a Heisman Trophy winner on the road. You played a college football playoff team on the road. You played Ole Miss, who's a really good football team, 10-win football team on the road. And now you've got those teams at home, and now you don't have to worry about Alabama this year. Now, I know Arkansas did not play great at home last season. That's been well documented. But I wonder, we talked about these close games. I wonder if you might get a call here or there, or you might have an advantage of just playing at home that might push you over the edge, that in these tight ball games you lost last year, with the exception of Florida, that might maybe flip your way, kind of like we were talking about earlier, just the benefit of playing at home.
Well, I hope so. Sometimes you do play better at home, and hopefully you play better at home every time you play at home. But one of the things that just the cold, hard reality of it right now is when you look at this coming season, I mean, find me a game in the SEC where Arkansas is going to be favored.
See, I was thinking Mississippi State, Chuck, with Jeff Lebby.
Well, you were talking about home games, though. You were talking about home games and whether or not that's going to tip the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I certainly hope it is. But I don't suspect Arkansas is going to be favored in any of those games.
No.
It doesn't mean they can't win them. It just means, and of course you win some games early on you're not supposed to, you might be favored as you move along. But I think if people were laying odds at the start of the year, I don't think they'd be favored in a single conference game.
Go to the Bet Saracen app right now. I think they're 11 or 11.5 dog against A&M, 9.5 against LSU. I don't think they'll be underdogs against Texas and Ole Miss, who I think are going to compete for Georgia and
But
Atlanta.
my point in all this is I don't think it's as simple as saying, well, they're playing at home, they ought to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as simple as that for anybody.
Let's take a call on this. Brian in Ozarks on the McLarty Daniel hotline this morning. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man.
And I was listening to y'all a little bit, and I've kind of been reading a whole lot since, last year and all the stuff on Arkansas and even Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. I think everybody agrees that the Oklahoma State game is very pivotal, and that's going to kind of gauge Arkansas' season. I'm going to say this. My sister's a OSU alumni. I've kept up with Oklahoma State, and Mike Gundy is 10 times better coach than what you got at Arkansas right now. They've got, people say the best running back in the country, which, didn't show up against Texas in the Big 12 game by any means. They handled him easily. But, this is where I'm looking at it. I believe, and this is just my own personal prediction, by the time the Texas game comes around, Arkansas season will be over. I believe they'll be 2-7, at best 3-6.
I bet they'll still get up for that game, though.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Look, we don't know what the record's going to be like. And, look, if Arkansas is 2-7 going into that game, don't be naive and think that's going to be a big game to Arkansas. Don't be naive. It won't be. And his point there is it's great to play Texas, but that's the first thing I noticed when I saw the schedule was when they were playing them.
Mm-hmm.
And
falling by, yeah.
You got the month that they're playing them. How many games you've played before that game? You got to make sure you're still in it. You got to make sure that you got something to play for other than the guy my age who remembers playing Texas every week or every season. Now look, I don't think they're going to be 2-7 at that point. And every time Brian calls in, he does it politely, but he always gets his shots in. And I know where he was going.
You think he'd have
there.
the you-know-whats to say that to Sam Pittman's face?
Well, look, Gundy's been there a long time, and I'm not knocking Gundy.
Great coach.
I'm not knocking I'm not saying he's a great coach, but I'm saying that he's done a really good job at Oklahoma State.
They average.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah, 9 or 10 wins. He's right about it.
He's done a really good job. I don't know what their average wins are there. That's a tough place to win ball games, and I'll give him credit for the job that he's done there. He's built a good program. Now, where they're going to go now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's going to be like in the new era of college football. I don't know. They might keep doing exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
From our perspective, all that matters is how they are on September, what is it, the 7th? That's what matters, is what kind of team they are then. And I'm sure they'll be very formidable. I'm sure of that.
Hopefully they eat some bad Eskimo Joe's cheese fries the night before, and they're feeling a little under weather for that game. But the thing about Oklahoma State you have to remember, as good as they are, and Brian, his point is well made about Ollie Gordon, that team, they have had terrible lapses at the beginning of this season under Gundy. Now, they finished strong a lot of times, but just something to monitor when you think about that game.
They lost to South Alabama at home 33-7 last year.
Mm-hmm. Lost to Central Michigan a couple years ago, I think.
That's why I say, and look, I got nothing against Mike Gundy. But there's a difference, that word great gets tossed around a lot. Like, hey, man, you win a game on Saturday, man, he's great. No, he's not. He was good enough to win on Saturday. He's not great. I don't know that great, I don't know that losing to South Alabama at home 33-7 qualifies you as great. Now, the rebound that they had in the season that they ultimately finished with does qualify you as very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Gundy's a very, very good coach, and I give him full credit for building a very good program in a place where it's hard to do that. Hey, let me pause just for a second. McLarty Daniel, if you're buying an automobile, McLarty Daniel's been doing business since the 80s. They know this thing, and they understand how it works. And what they've discovered along the way is that it's not just about price and item. Everybody can give you a great deal on a car or a truck. Everybody can. It's what happens when it's done. And sometimes it's what happens just when you first walk into the dealership, the way they make you feel, the experience. That's a big part of it. That's what keeps you coming back. Now, there are things like Saturday service that'll keep you coming back, too. And there are things like complimentary rentals while your car's being serviced. Those things will bring you back. But they'll be glad to welcome you into their stores. They've got 6 of them, 6 in Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville and Springdale, to be specific. And you can always check out their selection at McLartyDaniel.com.
So I wouldn't put Brian in necessarily the legendary status of sports talk radio callers in this state. Clay's wrote a really good column on hitthatline.com about the late Hammering Hank, Prairie Grove. We're going to talk more about him coming up and maybe some of the callers that we've enjoyed over the years taking. I don't mind Brian's call. He definitely has an opinion, and even though it goes against pretty much 99% of our listening base, but there have been some really good callers, particularly Hammer and Hank, that we can talk about coming up in just a bit. We've also got our SEC update, and I want to come back to Bronny James getting drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers as well. Before we go, I want to tell you about our friends at River City Coatings and their power coating. It's not just a layer of paint. It becomes part of the metal, and it can withstand chemicals, abrasions, and more. If you need your metals to last, get power coating from River City Coatings. Over 25 years of experience. You can check them out online at rivercitycoatings.com. It's not only stronger than paint, it's better for the environment. So whether it's patio furniture, rims, brake calipers, farm equipment parts, and more, River City Coatings. Check them out online, rivercitycoatings.com. No project is too big or too small. Give them a call and let River City Coatings help you. We'll talk about Clay's piece with Chuck, who's taken many a Hammering Hank calls over the years, and more. Stay with us. It's The Morning Rush.
This is Football Friday on The Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
And he's in. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas. More than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% and welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen,
Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google.
Fellas, less than 24-hour period. It was like, hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed your time as the only Texas school in the SEC because Big Brother's back.
We can talk more about that coming up. We got our SEC update to get to as we close down the show on a Football Friday. Before we do any of that, let's welcome in our friend David Rath with Rath Mitsubishi this morning, the pop culture king, if you will. Anytime you stop by and see David in Springdale, I guarantee you won't be able to stump him on anything. And David, people won't be able to stump you guys on your pre-owned inventory, not just the selection, but the fact that everything's road-ready certified, it's hand-picked. You guys fix everything wrong before you sell it. New tires, front-end work. It's the best used car money can buy, man.
I appreciate that. And I don't know, you might be giving me too much credit on the pop culture thing. No, yeah, we got great stuff on that used side right now. I've been trading for some really cool stuff lately. The new car side's been doing excellent. We got some cool incentives on that too. And then, we're kind of course, it's toward the end of the month, car guy talk, right? We're trying to have a big finish and everything. We're doing state sales tax paid with your trade-in here through the end of the month. Dad and I are still kind of banging our heads together trying to figure out what we're doing for July. But, we're doing, if you bring in your old ride, we're going to, of course, give you best value for your old vehicle, and we're going to cover your state sales tax. It's basically like that trade-in is like a voucher for that, man. I mean, somebody rolled in a $300 car the other day and got their state sales tax paid. So you're going to get a really good value here through the end of the month. Whether you're looking at pre-owned or new, I mean, either way, we've got you covered with really good ways to save.
And David, if they stop by and see you, will you do your Hank Hill impression? I'm not going to make you do it on air, but will you at least do it in person?
Depend on the I don't know, man. I'm going to have to be in the right headspace on that one.
All right, well, come by and see David Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale, and then his dad, Larry Rath, at Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith. I guarantee. Just ask him a pop culture question and see if he can invoke that that Hank Hill impression as well. David, appreciate your time, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
That's good stuff from David Rath. Chuck.
Hey, I was just reading this. Frank Bensel, they're playing the U.S. Senior Open in Newport, Rhode Island. Frank Bensel this morning has made back-to-back holes in one. Back-to-back. It's 184 yards for the par 3 on the fourth, 203 yards par 3 fifth. Back-to-back aces this morning. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, Colton was like, dude, you got to see this during there. And I just want one, Chuck. I just want one. I came away. I was 6 inches away from one 2 weeks ago. I just want one.
Well, let's talk about this guy first, though. Okay. The odds of making back-to-back holes in one. I mean, you're probably not going to make a hole in one at any point in your lifetime. But for someone to make back-to-back holes in one, I don't know what the odds were on that. I noticed he was 4 over before that, and that was through three holes. And then he had 2 straight aces, and then he went bogey after that. So it's not like this guy's going to win the tournament.
Now, Chuck, help me on this. Like, do they get to shoot, or do they get to tee off, like 40, 50 yards past the normal tees? Like, I wonder what that looks like.
Well, they have their own tee boxes, but I don't know exactly what their setup is. It's not the length of a normal PGA.
There was a we were telling. I don't think you were on the show. We told a story similar to this. There was this Iowa college golfer that was playing in some sort of tournament, and not only did he go back-to-back hole in ones, Chuck, he did it on 2 par 4s. This is a guy that can drive 350 something yards, and he found both of them in the cup, and they were verified by, I guess, the officials. But that's really impressive. And what did you say his name was again? I'm sorry.
Frank Bensel.
Frank Bensel. Congratulations to Mr. Bensel on his back-to-back hole in ones in this morning. That is it's pretty crazy. I bet those highlights, he was just blown away. And like you said, he might not even win the tournament based on where he is.
He's not going to win the tournament, but he's got a day to remember.
You tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm a professional golfer and I just can stay in contention all the time, I guess it's different with an actual major. But I would rather just be within top 10, top 15 and hit a hole in one than actually win something. But maybe that's looking at it the wrong way.
You don't get a cash prize for that hole in one.
That is
you
true.
get the cash prize for winning the tournament.
That is true. You don't get.
You might win a car every now and then if you make a hole in one, but you're not going to win the big money.
Yeah, it's a little different on that. Well, Chuck, before we let you go, man, Clay wrote a really good piece. Hammer and Hank used to call on your show a lot, called in Bo's show. I think I remember him. This would have been kind of a bit more the earliest stages of my sports radio listening career. Clay gave some great stuff on him. What are your thoughts on the late Hammer and Hank?
I think it's the anniversary of his passing, if I'm not mistaken. That's why Clay wrote the article. Yeah, I think the first call I got from Hank years ago, he was inquiring about this new movie called Space Jam.
Yeah.
Starring Michael Jordan. That tells you how long ago it was. And Hank left us a while back. He was a kind soul. We need more kind souls in the world, and Hank was a kind soul.
Yeah, that's pretty really good stuff from Clay in his column. I know that just being a part of listening to him back in the day live must have been pretty cool. But again, Prairie Grove, I know that we've talked about the fireworks 4th of July event further than this week, and I know a lot of people knew of and in person of Hammer and Hank, so just wanted to share that with you this morning.
I gave him the name Hammer and Hank.
Oh, did you? Heck yeah, that's awesome. Hey, this morning we're brought to you by our friends at Pradco Fishing. Whether it's the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue, or the Bobby Garland Baby Shad and the Dinger, you can check out all the great lures at Pradco Fishing made right here in Arkansas. You can get them at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Again, made right here in Arkansas. We've got our SEC update coming up in just a bit. We're going to round out the show. We've also got to come back to the NFL ticket and the possible distribution that the NFL is going to have to pay out $4.7 billion. And we'll get into some more football stuff here on a Football Friday. Stay with us. It's the Morning Rush here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and our Hit That Line Now app.
This is Football Friday on the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything. Service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So Nick Saban is getting $500,000 from Alabama as an advisor. $5,000 in addition, or $500,000 in addition to the money he's making on speaking engagements, College Game Day, ESPN. I know he was making like $10 million, $11 million as a college football coach, but still making a pretty penny even as a retired, air quotes around retired, semi-retired of sorts. But man, that'd be nice to be in that position. There is no question about that at all. This is a former Texas A&M Aggie. I say former. He's current, actually, Aggie. A lot of things have been said about Jim Schlossnagle this week. Not all of them good. I think Travis Chestnut's this kid's name. Said, not once in my career was Jim Schlossnagle respectable to me. I stuck with him because I wanted to be an Aggie in the SEC, and he stuck around because of the assistants. Jim Schlossnagle is getting ripped this week by Aggie fans. Cannot wait to see that first game at College Station where the bubbles will be blowing galore. Dumbest tradition in college baseball. All right, last thing here in your SEC update. Antonio Reeves, drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans. Justin Edwards goes undrafted for Cal and Kentucky. Not a lot of notable draft picks. Colton, did you watch this draft yesterday? Because I did not.
No, I paid no attention to it other than pick number 55. When the Lakers made their pick in the second round, I did kind of, keep near my phone, kind of wanted to see what was going on to see if they were going to do what they did, and they did.
It executed.
Yeah, they executed.
Now, again, there's a lot of thoughts on LeBron, the Lakers. I'm happy for LeBron, and I'm laughing at the Lakers. Who doesn't want to play with their son in professional basketball? That's awesome. Adrian Wojnarowski, I thought, had an interesting point when it comes to this whole dynamic.
I don't want to hear these charges, people talking about nepotism. No, the NBA is full of nepotism. Full of it. The ownership level, front offices, coaching. Yep. I don't want to hear it all of a sudden because of Bronny James's father plays for the Lakers. It is rampant in this league.
I agree 1,000% when it comes to that assertion from Adrian Wojnarowski, one of the best NBA insiders in the sport. He's right. I mean, how many jobs have been divvied out in the coaching ranks and the general and like in the executive, not to say executive, but like within franchises because of one sole thing: who your father was, or who your mother was. I don't have an issue. Again, from the LeBron James vantage point, I do not have an issue with this whatsoever. I'm happy for LeBron. For the Lakers, though, you've fallen. And I know they just won a championship in COVID few years back, but this is no longer the great franchise of Jerry West and Magic and Kareem and the late Kobe Bean Bryant. They've taken a lot of step back.
You think so? You think that they've taken that far of a dive down?
The last night was an example of that. They want to win off the court when it comes to not ticket sales, but like notoriety and I mean. As much of a camaraderie that Magic Johnson had with the late Jerry West, and this a lot of times was still Jerry's decision. This was LeBron's decision, no question about it. This was not a Janine Buss decision or Jeannie Buss, however you say her name. And I think if Jerry was still around today, he would be disappointed with where his franchise is now with the current situation. All right, our SEC update, we kind of left the SEC there for a sec, but our SEC update brought to you by our friends at Bird Pools and Spas. Splash into summer with a red, white, and blue sale at Bird Pools and Spas. For a limited time, buy an in-ground pool, get a heater free. Save up to $1,500 on the Doughboy above-ground pools and make a splash on the semi-in-ground pool, starting with monthly payments of $200. If you buy an endless pool, you're going to get free workout accessories valued at $700. Hurry to Fort Smith, Springdale, and their new location in Greenland. They do more than just build pools. They build long-term relationships. Burnpools.com. That's burnpools.com. All right, we'll kind of go back to a few of the things we've been discussing this morning. Colton, are we going to receive any money from the National Football League? From those that haven't heard, the NFL, according to a judge, is going to have to pay $4.7 billion to fans, bars, and others for those that bought NFL Sunday Ticket, which costs $349 per year just for an individual. This all started with some complaining from Mucky Duck Sports Bar in San Francisco. We went to the bus stop when we were there, which was great. But apparently Mucky Duck is the place that got this thing all started. Apparently they violated antitrust law and now could pay anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. The NFL is going to appeal this. We might not get a cent, but it would be cool to see that you got a check from the National Football League.
It certainly would. And if we do, what we need to do is hopefully wait. It gets drawn out a little bit. Heston gets really going up there in Baltimore. And then Bet Saracen puts out some more props on him to hit some more triples. And then we put that money down, those $3 or $4 we get from the NFL on that. And then we start really rolling it in.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Where Colton's referring to right now for Baltimore and Texas tonight, Heston is plus 2,500 if he hits a triple. So if you have an inkling to bet on that, whether you throw 100, whether you throw $5 or whatever, it's a lot of money you could win tonight if Heston Kjerstad hits a triple. I hope it happens. That'd be just wild if we came in Monday morning and one of the things from the box score was, yeah, Heston hit a triple. And then we're going to be kicking ourselves on Monday morning for not betting on that. Speaking of Monday morning, we've got a treat for you. We've got Phil Steele at 7, and we've got Sidney Moncrief at 8. So we've got a Razorback legend, one of the greatest to ever step foot in Barnhill Arena and put on a Razorback basketball uniform, plus one of the kings of college football, who's going to give us some insight on the Arkansas Razorback football team. He's very highly thought of Landon Jackson, some other guys on Arkansas's roster. So we'll get a chance to talk with Phil and Sidney Moncrief at 7 and 8 o'clock on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we'll be at the Social Birdie in Branson. So excited about that to see what next week looks like. And might have another surprise guest or two next week and in the coming weeks that I'm excited to talk about as well. So NBA draft-wise, nothing, again, no real news outside of LeBron James. We can move on from that. We had Roman Harper on this morning, who I thought Roman was great. Roman's a guy that really enjoyed playing Arkansas back in the day, went up against Matt Jones, our coworker, of course, stud Arkansas quarterback, Cedric Cobbs, and some others. And a couple of the things, the thing that really stood out to me in the conversation this morning, if you missed it, go to hitthatline.com or our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast, is the desperation word he used. I think there's a lot of people in that athletics department and within that football locker room that are desperate to win this year. They didn't like how last year. I think it's always very interesting to me to watch fans and how they react to losses, and including myself to a certain extent. I'm bad about it. I need to be more even-keeled. I admit that. But when you say that you care about it more than they do, and I want to see if they can use that as fuel, because there's a lot of people that are doubting this team this year, even within their own state, even within on that campus, that don't think this team's going to amount to anything. We're 62 days out from Razorback football. Honestly, we're really, 62 minus 2, 60 minus 7. We're really 53 days out from a real game. UAPB is not going to tell us anything. When they go to Stillwater, Oklahoma, I say 53, add 9, not plus 7. So when they go to Stillwater, Oklahoma, I guess it's in 71 days. If my math's on that right. Colin, you might want to double check me on that. September the 7th.
I'll make sure, Mr. Accountant, we got it.
I think it's 71 days. That's what it matters. That's when Arkansas, you're really going to find out about Arkansas football. And I've already penciled it in as a loss. Maybe I shouldn't. But you're asking this team to go on the road against what is likely going to be one of the 2 representatives in the Big 12 championship game and beat them in Boone Pickens. Yes, it's early in the morning. Yes, it's early on in the season, which Oklahoma State has not necessarily fared well. But you're playing a 7-year quarterback, a Heisman Trophy candidate in Ollie Gordon. They've got other studs. They've got all their pass catchers and offensive linemen back. If Arkansas wins this game, it's going to be 40-something to 40-something. There's not going to be a lick of defense in that game, I don't think. Especially, and maybe it's countered by the fact that offenses are still trying to get in gear. I hope Bobby has something special for that game. And they're practicing. Don't let coaches tell you otherwise. They are practicing and implementing stuff, and they have been, honestly, most likely for Oklahoma State for quite some time. 71 days, Colton?
71 days.
Okay,
you definitely should have been an accountant. It was good quick math.
Yeah, that was bad. And I was thinking Thursday to Sunday or Thursday to Saturday, switch it up on that. But yeah, 71 days, so that's what, honestly, the countdown should be for our Bud Light football countdown. It shouldn't be the UAPB game coming up on that Thursday. The real countdown is that Saturday. Now I can't get it out against Oklahoma State. Wow.
I think you're right, though. It's a very pivotal year for Sam and for the entire Razorback football program. If you get online, you get on the social media, and you see what the consensus is surrounding the team right now, coming into July here as talking season's in full swing, people are not excited, and they're not looking forward to it. And I hate that, because football is one of the best seasons around. There's always so much going on, and Razorback football means a lot to me. I grew up loving it, and you want to see them do well and succeed. But I think that this year they're just not. I don't know how. I know the fan base isn't feeling great about it, but there's still a lot that could be said and get done. And 71 days from now, Ty, you're right. That's the first game. They're already practicing it, and they know what they're going to talk about, and they're going to get into it, and it's going to be great.
Well, here's the whole thing about Arkansas football. When you look over the years, especially the last 20 or 30, basically since they joined the SEC, most good seasons that Arkansas has had, they haven't been highly thought of preseason. They're not highly thought of this year. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to translate into 9 or 10 wins. I'm not going to get up here and say that, but Arkansas has always been in a better situation in football when they don't have expectation thrust upon them. And trust me, there is no expectation nationally on this football team. There is not a national college football analyst out there that's going to pick you to be good this year in any way, shape, or form. which, you know what? Should be used as fuel. It should tick these guys off, and hopefully it does. Hopefully the chemistry is better than it was last year. Hopefully the coaching decisions are better. And hopefully Sam just gets some luck. Had some good luck on his side 2 years ago. No luck last year whatsoever. I mean, I was in Tuscaloosa. I was in Baton Rouge. I was in Oxford. You couldn't get a bounce to go your way in those games. Tight game in Oxford. KJ's picking the end. Milroe has the throw of his life on a 3rd and 10. And Jaden Daniels just did not miss a pass in the second half in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a reason he won the Heisman Trophy this last year. Still ticks me off that they lost those games as tight as they did. I'll tell you what doesn't tick you off is taking advantage of Father's Day special through the end of the month at Wheels RV. Only a couple more days to do that. Go by and see Chris, Lee J, and their team to take advantage of these Father's Day special on Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Give dad, give grandpa, give that father figure in your life something that he will never, ever forget. Start your journey to endless summer memories at Wheels RV in Springdale. Been a great show. Been a good football Friday. Again, we've got a loaded show on Monday with Phil Steele and Sydney Moncrief, and we're going to be at the Social Birdie in Branson on Tuesday. So for Chuck Barrett, for Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe if you're shooting off fireworks. Hopefully no one loses a finger. We're back in these chairs Monday morning at 6 a.m. Talk then.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly,